Tony Kanaan, 2013 Indy 500 champ, legendary driver himself. Tony, thanks for the time today, man. How are you?
Oh, thank you, man. My pleasure. About time that I get on your guys' show. I mean, I follow you guys for a long time. I know you guys were in Indy this year doing a bunch of stuff, and we miss each other. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get to. I was telling Elio yesterday. I didn't get to have donuts with him or you, so I was bummed. We'll have to make up for that next May. I'll mark you down.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you from far. You guys were all busy through the that media line that we had, and unfortunately we missed each other. But next year for sure.
Awesome. How's the summer been going for you? Enjoying SRX? Been fun?
Oh, 100%, Joe. Obviously, I'm being extremely busy. When I decided that I was going to semi-retire from IndyCar just doing the oval races, I thought things were going to slow down, and I picked up the SRX series. When Tony first called me, it was him and Ray had an idea on paper, and he said, you're going to be the first driver apart from Tony that we are inviting. So I took the challenge right away, and ever since – a couple other things picked up. I picked up to race in Brazil, stock cars in Brazil. So, and that's actually the reason that I missed actually two of the SRX races, which Hailey Deegan replaced me, and actually rightfully so did really well and created a lot of buzz around the series with Paul Tracy. But I'm enjoying it a lot. I mean, I went from expecting to do 6 races a year to 20 now between everything I'm doing. So, obviously, the SRX being one of the priorities, a great series, right? I think you guys can see if you guys are following us. I think it's just because the model of the race model, the way that the Ray organizes, and we have a chance to win. Everybody's relaxed. Everybody has won a lot in life. We don't have a lot to prove. Proving that we still can get mad at each other quite a bit, but all in all, I think it's a great show. So I'm excited. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the last race of the first season of SRX this weekend, and hopefully we'll be back for more next year.
Yeah, have we gotten any word on that? Do you have any intel for us that you can let us know?
I mean,
for it to be back.
I mean, Ray already asked me what I'm doing next year, so I'm assuming that after all this success, it's definitely coming back. But I have no more than just that. I mean, hopefully this weekend I'll press him a little more to see, because also there are a couple more things that are coming up that I need to make decisions already for next year. So I'll try to squeeze out of him, and I'll let you know in the DL.
There we go. Nice. I appreciate that. So you said you thought you were going to do 6 races. Now you're doing 20. I mean, and Mrs. Kanaan has just got to be like, hey, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, Lauren, I'm lucky that my wife worked on TV her entire life. Obviously worked for IndyCar, had TV shows, so she knows about racing. And when we sat down in September last year, the year before pre-COVID, I said, look, I think we're going to go part-time in IndyCar only, so it'll be just the oval, so we have a lot more time to do other things. She looked at me and she said, who are you trying to fool? And I said, no, actually, Joe, I truly believed that was going to happen. She was the one that called me out. And then, yeah, all of a sudden, obviously, we all went through a year that it was completely awkward, right? But after that, man, it was crazy, because just to give you an example, the last 7 weekends, I raced every weekend, and it's not one series, because now I'm doing 3, and including that one of the series is in Brazil. So basically I've been going back and forth every week. So it's actually, she's taking it pretty well, I have to say. I mean, she's a trooper, and, we have 4 kids, and it's not easy. Every time I leave, the SRX races are a little easier. It's 1 or 2 days. I mean, when I go to Brazil, it's a 5-6 day trip, and she's been a trooper for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. How's so last trip over to Brazil this past weekend was good for you?
Yeah, it was good. We had a puncture in qualifying. I started 30th. We have actually 33 cars there. I finished 14th. So it was actually pretty positive. The nice thing about that, I've left Brazil in 1992. So I really never and I had racing cars 1 year only, and then I took off. I went to Europe. So I never really had a chance to race in front of my fans down there, apart from IndyCar. Went there once a year for the last 4 years in a row, but that was it. So now they get a chance to see me. It's a huge series down there. It's actually, it's the NASCAR of Brazil. It's the biggest. So I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
That's awesome. Happy for you. That's and now you said you came over. Did you come initially to Indianapolis from Brazil in
No.
1992?
So the story was, as a little kid, I wanted to go race in Formula One. In Brazil, Formula One was very popular, was Formula One in IndyCar. But at the time, I went to Europe first. I went to Italy. I spent 3 years in Italy. So 93, 94, and 95. I actually lived in the race shop. I slept on the shop on a mattress on my boss's office to be able, because I couldn't afford, a house. And at the end of 95, I got an invite to come here to do Indy Lights with a team that doesn't exist anymore. But in 96, I came to America, spoke zero English. I actually, had to learn English, which, debatable. If you ask my kids, I do not speak English very well but I've tried. But yeah, I came here. I landed here in 96, January of 96. And I've been here ever since.
And Indianapolis, that is, or just America?
No. So first year I lived in Columbus, Ohio, because I raced for a team that was there. And usually, I was 20, 22. When you're that young, they try to keep you closer to the team so you can go to the race shop every day. So my second year, I moved to Miami in 97. As a Brazilian, I couldn't. I mean, you can imagine the winters. I mean, Columbus here, there. You guys know. So moved to Miami, lived in Miami until 3 years ago. So for 20 plus years, Lauren, my wife, she is from Indy. Obviously, all the race teams are here in Indy. I spend a lot of time in Indy since we've been together for 13 years. We always had a place here because she had a place here before we got married. Her family's here. So I spent Thanksgiving, Christmas, plenty of the festivities every year here. And then 3 years ago with the kids, we decided to move to Indy. So, I mean, I'm a Hoosier full time now. So still hate the winters. Don't take me wrong. But I guess we all do. That's what she's telling me, even people that lived here forever. But yeah, we've been in Indy for 3 years.
Right, that's awesome. I'm an Indianapolis kid, born and raised. So welcome, and we're glad you're here. And I agree 100% on the winters. But then that what gets us through, Tony, is that once we're in the winter, we're just thinking the countdown to May.
Correct.
That happens, and then all is right. All is right in the world. Actually, look, I tagged you on Instagram, and this right here is up on my little background. This mini helmet that I got signed.
Oh yeah, and I reposted.
You reposted this, yes. Yeah. Signed by you, signed by Buddy Rice, a few other people. I got the list in there somewhere, but you're up on my shelf every day.
Thank you. Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. So now that you're at Indy, I have a few restaurant questions that I got to ask.
Okay.
Because I always get interested to hear about the drivers, different tastes that they have around the city. Are you Prime 47 or are you St. Elmo's guy?
Actually, St. Elmo's.
Okay.
I would say more lately, I'm more Tony's. I don't know if you've been to Tony's downtown.
Heard good things about Tony's, yeah.
So you should go there. I think that if you had gave me that option, I would go Tony's nowadays.
Oh, okay. So
over a steak.
So Tony's, Saint, and then
Prime 47.
What's interesting though, Tony, to me is I've like a lot of the other ones that I've asked, like when I was doing the Drivers Eating Donuts series, a lot of the guys were all Prime 47, and yeah. I don't know.
I actually probably I have to say, Joe, I had more dinners at Prime 47 that I did at San Elmo's. And I think it came out just because obviously their shrimp cocktail, I would say, probably not meat-wise. I think you can't go wrong. I don't disagree with the other guys. And probably, and I would say as far as location, I think Prime 47, it's like, it feels more of, you can see the street, you can like, the restaurant's more inviting. Like San Elmo's, you feel like you're inside a vault, you can't, and their tables are very close together and stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a little bit more of that kind of.
Now, my question is, have you been to Fogo?
I have not. TK.
See?
I,
Come on, man. I
so
need to
is
take
that
you
your
there.
go-to in Indy?
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. It's a Brazilian steakhouse, right? I mean, it's the meat that I'm used to eat. I mean, there's a lot of traditions about Brazilian food. You eat rice, beans, and I don't know if you're familiar with Fogo, but basically you sit down, you don't order meat. They come to your table with all sorts of meat. You can eat as much as you want for as long as you want. So you should try it.
So it compares pretty well to back home then for you?
It's 100% back home. Like, this is how, when you call the churrascaria, it's a restaurant, but if you think about it, we have so many of those because it's very practical. So you go in, there's a salad bar with all you can eat, but also you can, you get whatever you want. It's really fast, right? You go in, get your salad plate, you sit down, you order your drink. They will swap your plate when you're done, and then they will just come with meat. Every type of meat. You have a little utensil that you can pick, and you choose what side. If it's well done, medium rare, whatever, the guy will cut it in front of you. You grab it. I mean, you can. People that go there for the first time, they actually get so full in the first 5 minutes because you just yeah, and then you just like, and that's what you try to teach people, because you grab all this meat that comes, and then you obviously you can only eat so fast, and the meat gets cold on your plate, and then you don't want it anymore. So guys, pace yourself, because he's gonna come back.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's the closest for sure.
And so that has to be a place that like you don't ask for any sauces or anything like that there, right? No.
I mean, now there is no sauce, like that's and again, it's not a bad thing. It's an American thing, and it's a Brazilian thing. I mean, you can go either way, but yeah, over there we don't, there is no ketchup, there is no there is no barbecue sauce,
A1, not even
A1, none of that. It's just, I mean, the meat, obviously it's cured. They prepare with a sea salt. And I mean, it's different. It's just different.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to do that.
I'm hungry now, man.
It's lunchtime. I know, man. My wife. I'm pretty sure she's been there, and we haven't made it there. So I'm gonna have to put it on the list. Next time I want to go to Elmo's, I'm gonna do an audible and go over to
maybe do that.
Yeah, and I'll report back to you. I was talking with Elio yesterday, and I asked him the same thing I want to ask you. Now that you are part-time, you're doing less IndyCar stuff. Do you miss the full series? Do you wish you were out there at Road America and in Detroit, or are you kind of liking the time away?
No, Joey, for sure. I mean, it's something that as a race car driver, especially Elio and I, we've done it for 23 years. You're always going to miss it. But I think, the hardest part for me was to try to get a little bit of detach of that, saying it's either all or nothing. As a race car driver, that's the way we think, right? So in a positive note, I think I do miss it, but also there are days that you look like when they are in Detroit, and no offense to Detroit, that's the track that I had the most success, but then you do a double header there and you're like, hey, probably don't miss that much, and you get, but honestly, I think I don't, because I was fully aware of the decision that I made when I made it, right? So it's not like somebody forced me out. Like, and then I think Elio talked about that, because Elio did not want to stop racing in IndyCar. An opportunity presented that he had to go, and now, thank God, he proved it, and he's, almost 100% convinced he's coming back full time next year. I was on the other end. I decided that I wanted to go. Still do a little bit of IndyCar, still race in Indy because it's the race that you always, want to race. But I wanted to race other things, which that's what I'm doing. So, in hindsight, I have to say I missed it, but not in a bad way, because that opened up for me to do other cool things that I never had a chance to do, because every year for 23 years, it was IndyCar from January to December.
So with Elio, do you think now, I mean, him winning the 500, if he wouldn't have done that, would he be back full time, or just that win is enough to get him back?
I think Elio, if Elio would not have won the 500, he was going to be like me, still either just doing a couple races a year, 3 or 4 races a year. Obviously, for me, it was a very I would say, comfortable situation because Jimmy decided that he didn't want to do the oval, so it was pretty clear, right? I mean, he
Okay.
did. Elliot was gonna like probably do the 500 and a couple more. I don't think Elliot would have had the opportunity. He was gonna try, but I think it was gonna be pretty hard. Now, by winning the fourth, for sure he's coming back to try to go win fifth. But then he always expressed that he wanted to be full time, and he's putting the pressure big time to be back. Which I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen.
Let's flash forward to May of 2022. Tony Kanaan is drinking the milk for the second time up there in the winner's circle on the podium. Would you then go back full-time IndyCar?
No, I don't think that's happening again. Like I said, I made my decision. I go even further. I think if that happens, I don't think Tony Kanaan is doing an IndyCar at all after that. I think it will be time to say, you know what? You got to understand. I mean, I try to explain that to people. Racing is my life. And my biggest fear was for somebody to retire me. And I never said I was going to retire. I said I'm slowing down. But at some point, Joey, you got to think that, I'm going to be next year, I'll be 47 years old. I'm not saying I'm old, but I'm not 20 anymore. It gets to the point that you go, all right, we've done enough. And then what other things there are out there to do it? Do I think I can still race the Indy 500 for the next 3 years until I'm 50? Actually, that is my goal. I think out of this new generation, we have this label that people put it on, like calling Elio and I old and this and that. And I want to prove it wrong. Back in the day, you remember, you lived in Indy your entire life. I mean, AJ was 58. Mario, I mean, I'm not saying I want to do that, but I think out of our generation, 50, it's far away from, because they calling 32-year-olds old, right? They retire people, they're 35 in our sport or in basketball or football. I mean, you name it. So I think if I get to do the 500 for the next 3 years, I'll be more than happy. But no, to answer your question, I don't think I'll be back full time.
So then, what does TK want to do once that time is up? Once even Brazil, or once even the stock car racing like that. I mean, will there always be a little bit of that racing that you'll do, or what's next for you?
Look, I get asked that question quite often, and unfortunately, I don't think I have the right answer. I think my life has been, very unpredictable in many ways. But what I would like to do is, like you said, still keep racing if I can. But I've done it a couple times in the past, and last year during COVID as well. I would love to be involved in racing somehow. Broadcasting, I mean, people keep saying, oh, you're so good at it. I mean, I have no idea how good I'm at, because, to go in and make a guest appearance at your show, it's one thing. To do it at full time, how complicated that is. But that would be something that I'll be really interested to do, or be involved with a team, organizing a team. I've been on the other side since 2011 when I got let go out of Andretti. We definitely got, I got involved more with the sponsorship and getting people to understand how racing is. So maybe helping young kids. I mean, you name it,
Yeah. Okay. Are any of your kids out there racing?
No, actually, I have a 14-year-old. There are 3 boys and a girl. A 14-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. The girl is the youngest. The 14-year-old is not interested. And the other kids are not as well. So, I mean, obviously they're young. They're very young. Sure. So I'm not sure how that's going to go, because I'm glad, I should say, between us here, I'm glad that they're not involved in racing right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. And then
actually, I have to say, somebody probably up there turned the lights off on us, and I'm going to turn it back on. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
I'm in the basement, because that's the only quiet place in a house with 4 kids, and then somebody just turned the lights back off on us.
I noticed they dimmed down. It's all right. Just setting the mood for the interview. But then looking ahead to this weekend with Nashville, last one at SRX. I've been talking with PT and then Haley Deegan, and we got all that going on leading into the race. I've seen even you in the live broadcast. You're getting a little heated under the behind the wheel there, TK. So what are we looking forward to here as the last race? Are any of those concerns happening with Paul Tracy out there for you?
Nah, Joey. I mean, like we talked about the SRX. I mean, we all like, oh, we all having fun, this and that. The first race, we a little tap here, a little tap there. Nobody says anything. Then the second race, then you go in the dirt. That there is no way you're not going to hit each other, and it starts to get like that. When you put guys like at our level on a small track with cars with fenders, what do you expect, right? So, I got mad. I mean, Francis Jr. is a guy that, we got mad at each other, but then you go, it's racing. It is what it is. And there is always the payback. And I think that's actually healthy for the competition as well. PT, ironically, I know you talked to him. PT was a guy that did what happened to him to people for 35 years. So it's funny to see PT on the other side, saying, I said, dude, do you realize how many people you did that and for how long? So it's all good. I'm not concerned. I mean, the way we have to race there, you got to expect that at some point, somewhere, you're going to hit somebody and somebody's going to get mad at you. You're going to get it back and so on. I think Ray has a pretty good control of the situation. There are no penalties, but there are, because you take somebody out, they'll call you in the pits to check your car. You have to start last. So that's the penalty there right away. So,
yeah.
And if you hit somebody, because of the race format with the yellows, you don't lose a lap if you pit. We're always going to race that guy again in that event.
Yeah.
So you got to think about how hard you want to hit him, because that's how hard you want to get hit after that. So, I mean, an exciting series, Joey. I mean, a completely different format. Like I said to you, it's more of a show. Right? CBS brought it in. We have drones. We talked with drivers during a green flag, right? I mean, it's incredible. It's more of a show than actually you go to the competition side. You can watch IndyCar. You can watch NASCAR. You can watch it's different. It's a different format. It's for the people. It's for the public. It is an hour show and there is a script. There is not a script, but they can say throw yellow right now and nobody complains, so it's probably the most fun I had in a race car in a long time.
That's awesome, man. I'm enjoying the hell just watching you guys as well. And like I said, for an Indy kid born and raised who has grown up with the race and the track, being able to talk to you is an honor. And I just appreciate the time today, man.
No, thanks, buddy. And obviously, like I said, I start following you and get to know you guys more and more this year, I have to say, and then. You guys do a great job. It's really cool to see what you guys are doing. So all the success, and hopefully we the Fogo de Chão first, and then we the donut together.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Sounds like a plan, Tony.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man. Bye.